Hi guys, it's Elena and I'm enchanted to have you be here on my channel. If you're new, hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. It really help out a small YouTuber. We could be YouTube friends and that would be awesome. And if you've been here before, welcome. I'm so glad you're still here. So for this video, I'm doing a plan with me, as you can see by the title, and I'm starting off with picking out my favorite photo from this month and then putting it in the front of my bullet journal. I think it's so cute. I love looking back for it, and my kitty was just ready for a photo op, and that's why she's the star for this episode, because you'll be able to see later just how much she ended up harassing me. So this month I'm doing a blue theme, or like a dark blue theme. For the past couple of months I've been doing a color theme, and then each week is a different kind of theme built around that color. So overall this month's theme is blue, dark blue, and each week was something based off of blue. I learned a couple new painting techniques or painting things, so let's kind of check it out. Are you looking forward to anything towards August? I'm kind of feeling a little overwhelmed because next semester is starting in September, and I feel like this is kind of like the end of summer for me. So I'm just getting things ready to start college, to start school, and I'm kind of freaking out. But other than that, I think it'll be good, and this summer has been really hot, especially around here. So it's not like I'm able to go on a lot of walks or stuff, but I have been on a lot of beach trips. So those are pretty great. I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with this kind of layout. It ended up kind of looking like clouds and very watercolory and washed out, and I was enjoying the way that it looked. I made a spot at the top of the right page, for a quote like I did in the past couple of months, and I'm putting in the calendar. I also really enjoy the kind of blue decals at the top of the video. As you can see, the fake flowers and crystals. It took me a while to dig out crystals that were pretty. Some of the crystals at the top are blue kyanite, quartz, and selenite, and I just thought it was like a very pretty layout. I'm also doing a lot of details with gold for these spreads, so I feel like that dark, deep blue and gold go really well together. I was really debating between using gold or silver for the details, since silver goes really well with this type of blue as well. But since the past couple of pages were gold details, I figured I'd tie in the journal with at least something. So here in this little sphere where I'm going to be writing in the month's name, I kind of had a vision of doing like flowy lines and maybe like a little bit of organic shapes throughout it so it looks flowy and pretty. But I messed up, and I don't really know where I messed up, and it became very triangular and edgy instead of like flowy. I think I went off with a different pattern instead of like my initial thought. I'm not too happy with the way it turned out, but I'm not too mad at it either, since it wasn't too bad, and kind of like the triangularness or the squareness of it goes with it as well. The gold that you see here doesn't really transfer on screen as great as it does in live view, because it's not as shimmery, it's not as pretty, so it looks a little bit like a mess. That's okay though. I don't mind my messy month. It kind of corresponds with my messy life, I suppose. So even though the layout of this front page wasn't exactly my vision or wasn't exactly what I wanted, I decided to kind of go with it anyways and just kind of let it become what it's going towards. Also, these gold paint, if you've seen my other painting videos and if you've seen me using these gold watercolor paints, you know that I'm kind of obsessing with them. It's like painting with liquid gold. I think they're the most awesomest pigmented painting things for metallics that I've ever used before, and they're so cool. And I'm going to link them down in the description if you're curious to check them out, alongside with all the other supplies that I used in this video. They're all links from Amazon, so if you're curious, go ahead and take a peek. Okay, so that was done. Decided to fill in that little mistake spot into a deeper gold, give it another layer, and it turned out like a fancy Pepsi logo. That's why I ended up thinking it just looks like a fancy Pepsi logo. But anyways, I tried to kind of make it take over the page a little bit more by giving those blue swirls and just let it be what it is. It's not too bad, but it wasn't exactly my vision. Oh well. And I used a scrap piece of paper that kind of looks like old-fashioned parchment paper to write down the August title, and I kind of did like the ripped edge technique around it so it looks weathered and worn a little, and I used that as the name for the month. That way you could see it over the blue, and it kind of hides some of my mistakes. So I'm writing in the quote, and it says, "Colors are the smiles of nature" by Leigh Hunt. And I absolutely agree, and because I do specific color themed months, I figured it was a very fitting quote. Let me know if you have any other quotes that you like that kind of fit with colors, or it fits with different blues. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. Let me know down in the comments. Also, this spread is on the left, it's going to be my habit tracker, and on the right, it is my gratitude page, I suppose I could call it that, or I can call it petals of thankfulness since I'm doing flowers. Past couple of months, I've been doing a whole page spread filled with spots for me to write down something I'm thankful for every day. And this month, I'm doing it with petals, or flower petals, and a couple of them are going to be painted in, and a couple are going to be left blank, so I have room to write down something I'm thankful for. I've absolutely loved doing these spreads, coming back to it every single day to write down what I'm thankful for. It really helps bring mindfulness together, and it really helps me kind of realize all the small little things that happen during the day. It just gets me thinking. Let me know if you have a thankfulness page in your spread. I know a lot of people do similar styles for a mood tracker. I've tried doing a mood tracker. I don't really keep up with a mood tracker. It's really not my thing. My moods go crazy throughout the whole entire day. But thankfulness page or a place to write down what I'm thankful for is something I've really enjoyed doing. I also really love the watercoloriness of these petals. They kind of look a little bit messy, a little bit colored in, and very painted and very kind of abstract painted a little bit. I just love the way that the colors were flowing, and I think it came out really cool, really cute. I love the gold details with it, and I don't really know what flower this is. I just kind of came up with a 6-petal blue flower. If there are flowers out there that are similar looking to this, that are 6-petaled and blue, maybe you know one. I don't really know any of them, but I'm sure something's out there. Doing in some extra gold details and splotches in the background just to kind of fill up the page, and I'm on to working the habit tracker while the other side dries. So I'm tracking 10 habits this month, and the habits are reading, that would be either with an audiobook or actual book, walking 5,000 or more steps because of this whole quarantine thing or COVID thing. I've been home a lot more frequently and a lot more sedentary and working a lot of art stuff and YouTube stuff. I really don't get to walk around as much, so I'm hoping to up my step count this month. I'm also tracking my gym visits, how many times I went to the gym, not going out to eat, home meals. I've also been really guilty of ordering out a lot of food because it's just too hot to cook and don't really want to cook. But I'm trying to stop that. So let me know what habits you're working on, if you have any pretty bad habits because of this whole COVID thing happening or starting. Let's hopefully break them this month. I'm also tracking my kind of witchy hour, I call it, or like witchy study. I like to study things a little bit more. I've just been practicing what I've already known, but I'm hoping to expand my knowledge further. To journal, to write down in my diary. I've been fairly good with keeping up with that, but I still like to track it just as a reminder. Taking my vitamins and medication and not spending any money, because again, during this whole quarantine thing, online shopping has been pretty bad. If you follow my Instagram and you've seen my stories, you've seen a couple shopping things come in. The flower petals, I wrote down numbers 1 through 31 just to keep up with the days, and I spread them throughout so they're not in order. And I wrote in my habits, and here is this spread. I love the way the gold shimmers and the watercoloriness of it. I think it's pretty. I think it came out pretty. Alright, onto the first official weekly spread. I got these scrapbooking paper pads, and it had this watercolor, or I think it's alcohol inks type of color throughout the whole pages, and I just fell in love with it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous and stunning. I love the way that the colors are running, so I figured this page I will make the whole week this theme. It was very simple to put together, so I just pretty much cut that out of the scrapbook pad and cut it to size, stuck it in there, and used the little scraps to kind of divide the weeks. And this week was super simple, super easy to put together, but those colors are so mesmerizing to watch. Finished putting in the dividers for the week. And this is my kitty, Lila, who was seriously harassing me throughout this whole video. Demanding cuddles. Absolutely demanding cuddles. I'm trying to hold her on my lap and write things at the same time because I'm a little bit behind in doing this video. And she just kept interrupting. But she's so cute and it was so worth it. And then she got cat fur all over the place, so I had to brush it off and try to get it out of all the tape and sticky stuff. She was just being such a cuddle bug. I had to put her in her napping spot up on top of my shelves because she kept playing with the decorations and trying to ruin them, and she pushed the camera. Oh, she was just such trouble. Yep, look at that little spoiled girl. Completely taking over my space for attention. She's so cute. And she loves belly rubs. Look at this little diva. She's cute and she absolutely knows it. So these colors for the pages are stunning. I love looking at the way that they flow, the way that they blend, the way that they merge. It's such a fun scrapbooking pad, and I'm glad I got to make it part of my weekly spreads. Super pretty. Alright, on to the next week's spread. Keeping up with the blue theme, I decided to do this whole week all about whales. And I decided to paint a whale in the center of the page, and I've never painted a whale before, but I didn't want to do it too detailed, so it's a little bit of an abstract whale, but I think it came out pretty great. I did have a roll of washi tape that was absolutely perfect for this occasion, so I used it to line the borders in the top and bottom, and I also used one of the whale images on it as a reference to paint the whale in the center. I didn't want to make the painting too big since I wanted to still have room for the weekly spreads and I didn't want to write over the whale itself. So I think I came up with a decent enough size where it's kind of in the middle and kind of small-ish. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just trying to color in the whale in like those deep blues. Added some greens to give it more of like a sea creature type of feel. Maybe, I'm not sure if that really worked, but different variations of blues and different layers and gave it kind of not very much texture, but an abstract flowiness of watercolor and paint, and I think it came out fairly decent. It looks like a whale, and that's the most important part. I wasn't sure how to put in a lot of the details, and I wasn't really willing to mess up my painting to put in those details, so that's why it kind of came out more of an abstract watercolor splosh or sploosh. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about using my bullet journal, is that I get to explore so many creative ways, so many creative outlets to do my spreads. So I've learned so much, so many new techniques, and so many new ways of painting things. Like, I've never painted a whale before, and I don't think it came out too bad. So I'm pretty excited to be able to use all of these techniques in my other artworks and other paintings, and just be able to explore some things that I wouldn't necessarily paint on my own. I also went over my white Sakura jelly roll to kind of give those whale lines, since they're a little bit more detailed and finer than the paintbrush could actually do, and I think it came out fairly decent. It lightened up the belly of the whale in just the perfect amount to give it like a detailed out, and that was that. So then I'm using the light blue watercolor just to kind of color the whole page and background to give it an underwater feel and to use it as a background for my weekly spreads. I also have these stickers of like shimmery bubbles, which I put pretty much all over the page, and I think it gave a really great filler and it came out fairly well. It's very important to find the right place for stickers. Writing in the days of the week. And I don't think it came out too bad. Here's an up close of it. I think my whale friend is doing pretty good sitting there in the middle of my page. I do love those whale washi tapes, so they came out so great in this spread. Alright, so on to the third week. This one I decided to do kind of like a starry night or a night sky type of look, combined with some details of moon and stars, and I figured the dark blue would kind of go great hand in hand with the overall monthly theme. Used some iridescent shimmery paper details and glued them in, so it gave that center more of like a night sky, nighttime feel. I love the way it came out. The washi tape were also super perfect for this weekly spread. I've already done blue, I have done dark green, I have done yellow spreads, and I have done a brown themed spread, or like a coffee colored themed spread. What color should I do for next month? Let me know down in the comments if there's a specific color that you would suggest. I'm thinking of doing red, but I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments. I'm also using these little cutouts that I've done with my new Cricut cutter, which has been such a fun toy to play with. And I've cut out specific shapes for a project that I'm working on, and these were kind of space fillers so that I'm not wasting that paper. And I used them to mark the beginnings of the week, and I think it came out fairly good. I love the dark blue of it. It really fits the overall monthly theme, and I think they came out great. I've also been kind of obsessing with the hexagon shape. Not on purpose, not for any particular reason, just feel like it's a really good organic shape. Reminds me of honeybees, and it's been really fun to work with and play with. Now, speaking of the Cricut cutter, such a fun toy. I think that I got the Cricut Maker, and I'm opening up an Etsy shop. I'll have that link down in the description, and I'll be placing a lot of paper craft goodies. I started off with some birthday cards. If you're curious to check it out, again, link is going to be down in the description, and hopefully you guys can support as a small artist and become a YouTube friend, and that would be absolutely amazing. I then went through with a dark blue marker and did some stars and details throughout the page just to kind of fill it in a little bit more. Different stars, different dots. And then I took my white Jelly Roll pen and filled in those stars and kind of lightened the color a little bit, at the same time having a darker background for the star and the star being white. I think it came out quite well. Here's an up close of it. I love the shimmery iridescent colors of the details, and I feel like those little hexagon space or hexagon sky themed things really brought the whole thing together. The quote is, "There is magic in the stars," and in my opinion, there is magic everywhere. Alright, on to the last spread. Since I did a simple sticker and washi tape spread in the past, I wanted to do something a little bit more detailed, a little bit more art inclusive, and I wanted to do this theme for blueberries. They're blue, they're berries, they're cute, and I think it fits through the theme for the month. I've never painted blueberries before. Again, a lot of things I get to learn while I do my spreads. I did it on a separate parchment paper so I can do that ripped out technique. And I went through and layered a ton of different shades of blue, little bits of blues and purples, just to kind of give it some dimension, more color, and try to make blueberries. They were so much fun to paint, and just drawing them in with a pencil. They're round with like a little 5-pointed flower on the top, so if you don't color them blue, they kind of look like tomatoes, which I thought was really silly and really fun. Painting in more details just to give it some highlights, then blending in those colors together. And they're coming out of a basket. I've also never painted a basket before. A lot of firsts for me in this spread, but I don't think I did too bad of a job. I wanted to make sure to have lots of details, lots of shadows, so it looks fun on the page. I went through with a marker and outlined the blueberries just to give it a little bit more dimension, and as soon as I did that, I feel like it just popped, and you can really tell that they're blueberries and not just blobs of paint. Alright, on to adding more details for the basket. I was really focusing on giving it shadows and details just to make sure that it stands out and kind of looks like a basket and not just a brown bowl that the blueberries are falling out of. I used markers of similar colors just to give them that fine details because it gives me more control rather than using a tiny petite paintbrush. I do not have the steadiest of hands. My hands shake from medications and health reasons, and that all fun stuff, but I don't think I did an overall bad job with the fine lines and details. I love the way that this came out, the spilling blueberries. I think it's super cute. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to do that ripped out paper technique to kind of tie it to the beginning of the monthly spread, and I feel like it gives it an additional detail or decal for the bullet journal. And I figured that there was just not enough blueberries, so on the other side I cut out another strip of paper and added in more blueberries to tie in the page together, to tie in the spread together, and, well, to have more blueberries, because they were so much fun to paint. I also loved implementing some of the purples to it, just to give it more dimension, more color. And then glued them in. This crafter's tape is my best friend when it comes to bullet journals or really any crafts at all. It is such great sticky tape. It's like so much better than a roll-on glue, and it's a lot less messy to use and work with, and it just makes things stick like, oh, it's so awesome. Alright, adding in more of that ripped paper technique. And then the last fine details. I hope all of you guys and your families are staying safe and staying sane during this whole quarantine and COVID season. I know it's been a little bit of a struggle for me, but everything's fine overall, and I'm just trying to make the best of it day by day. Right, going in with the marker, adding in some more details, and boom, they really look like blueberries now. Then I took that similar blues colors and watered it down a lot. Kind of went through and blocked out spaces for the week where I'm going to be writing things down. So I feel like it gave it a lot more dimension. It made the page a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and added a lot more blue. I'm also loving how chunky and used my journal is becoming. Also, when you're tired, careful when you paint, because you end up putting a paintbrush into your tea instead of where it's supposed to go. Whoops. So after making myself another cup of tea and trying to keep it far away from my paintbrushes, I finally glued in that side of blueberries. Then I added in a little blue fairy, just kind of be the guardian of the blueberries for this weekly spread, and covered it with some nature and earth-based stickers, just kind of reminded me of like gardens and flowers and florals and things like that. Alright, and finally writing in the days of the week and their corresponding numbers for the month, just to help keep myself on track. And I feel like this spread was the most detailed and the most fun to do. Look at how cute the blueberries came out. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty proud of myself. And I love the little blue fairy. It goes great with the whole spread. And here is this week. Alright, the last page is for the month. I do my most used spread, and it's an ongoing task list or an ongoing to-do list where I just write down everything that needs to get done and kind of go through it and cross it off as things get done. So I don't have it for specific days, it just have a ton of tasks that I want to get accomplished for the month. Okay, so here is an overview of the whole month of August. I loved playing with the blues and golds and the colors for this. I think the spreads came out so fun. Let me know which one's your favorite. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, the whole shebang, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!